Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing fantastic. So, okay, I'm sorry for there's like background noise because the AC is on. Sorry, but it's like 40 degrees Celsius today and I'm not having it. The AC stays on. Basically, I'm making this video, you can see by the title, it's called Talking is Hard, because I have so much to say about this topic and I feel like there's no one in my life who I can fully connect to on this kind of stuff. I'd be having conversations with myself. I talk to myself on a regular basis. Is that weird? Yeah, it's pretty weird. Am I gonna continue doing it? Yes, absolutely, till the day I croak. So I just thought might as well share it with people who actually want to listen instead of just me, because you know, sometimes I get tired of hearing myself speak. I haven't thoroughly planned this video out. It's gonna be very messy and I do apologize for that, but this is just my brain. I'm literally just like just word vomit, but that's just how the video is gonna be, so I apologize. It's so hard to find people in real life who are kind of willing to talk to you about this kind of stuff, which fair enough. And for a long period of my life, I literally thought that I was alone and I was the only one in the entire world who found talking hard and who, you know, was freaked out by social situations because everyone around me just seemed to just get it. I was always just sitting in the corner bro, I remember some really embarrassing situations from when I was younger. I don't know if I've told this story on my channel before, so I went on this excursion for girls who thought they wanted to be engineers, and only one girl from my high school went with me and the rest were girls from other high schools, and I had no idea who they were. And when we were having a lunch break, I literally was so scared to talk to people. I was so scared to talk to any of them that oh my god, I was just sitting in the corner eating my lunch by myself while they were all talking. And then one of the hosts, who was a guy, he came and he tried to strike up conversation with me. I remember he asked me something and I didn't know what to say, so I gave him a one-word answer. I tried to smile just so he'd know that I was friendly and I wasn't trying to be standoffish. I was just really shy and did not know what to say, and I guess he did take it as me being standoffish. He just went and stopped talking and walked away, so I was just like, yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't really happen to me too much anymore, but oh my gosh, just embarrassing. I feel like if I was younger and I had someone talking about this kind of stuff, I would have felt less weird and like this is just a normal human thing and normal humans go through this kind of stuff, because genuinely for a very, very long time in my life, I felt that there was something wrong with me. I felt like I was supposed to be a robot or something, or a leaf. I was like, why is this so hard for me? At one point it got so bad to the extent that I genuinely thought I was invisible because I always used to get ignored. So I just want to make this video for anyone else out there who feels like this may be them. It's gonna be so embarrassing if I post this video and everyone's like, no babes, it's just you. Literally no one can relate to you. So I kind of just want to talk about the fact that when people aren't talkative, it's generally taken as an offense. I've been in situations where, I've said this before, people take me as rude or a B word because I'm not talkative and I think I'm hot and I think I'm better than everyone else here. So I know this tall, cute standing in the corner with resting face, that may come across as, yeah, she thinks she's hot, but I promise you, I don't. I'm just freaking out of my head because I don't know what to say to anybody. But you know, I think that's just a human thing. Sometimes even I find myself thinking when I'm in social situations, oh, this person isn't talking to me. Did I do something wrong? Are they mad at me for something? Do they not like me for a certain reason? Are they just a mean person? But I feel like that's rarely ever the case, because I think back to a lot of the times where I was really silent in social situations. And it's just because I didn't have anything to say. So I think, yeah, if you're watching this as an extrovert, even an introvert, ambivert, whatever, just realize when people are quiet, sometimes it's just that, they're quiet. They might have had a bad day. They might be thinking about something they have to do that they're scared about. Like, it hardly ever has anything to do with you. And this is definitely something that I have to tell myself a lot as well, because one of the reasons that I can be quite standoffish is that I absorb other people's energies. And when I first start talking to a person and they do seem quite standoffish, I assume it's because of me for whatever reason. So then I become standoffish. But I need to realize it really has anything to do with you. Like, let's be real. How often are you overanalyzing someone else? You're usually thinking about stuff that you have to deal with, whether it's your assignments, somewhere else you have to be, or sometimes your mind is just blank. No thoughts, just vibes. For said reasons, we might be standoffish, and sometimes you just don't know what to say, like is the case with me, and I'm sure it's the case with a lot of you guys. So next time you're in a situation with someone and they're quiet, just realize they're probably just thinking about something else and they don't intend on being rude. Okay? For me, when I was younger, a lot of the time I just never knew what to say. Oh my gosh, I remember in high school it was really bad. When I moved to the high school that I graduated from, I entered year 9. I knew that talking was really hard for me, so a lot of the time I just never said anything. I remember like people were really weird about it. In multiple situations, people would talk to other people on behalf of me while I was right there. Instead of asking me, oh, what's your name? They'd ask the person next to me, oh, what's her name? It's like, just ask. And I know it would be hard considering I hadn't talked the whole time, but I'm right there. Like, I'm literally right there. It's so weird. And I mean, I don't know who's to blame in that situation, because on one hand, I've been really quiet the whole time, but like, shy people exist, hello. But then on the other hand, that person is asking someone else something about me with me in their presence. I don't know who's to blame there, me or the other person. I really don't know, but that kind of stuff always rubbed me the wrong way. Once again, that's from my perspective. Tell me what you guys think about that. I don't know, I always found it really weird. So yeah, when I was younger, never knew what to say, so I just resorted to being quiet because talking was just so hard for me. I feel like I never really went through that developmental stage when I was younger where I learned how to properly socialize. I just remember when I was really young, making friends was hard, talking to people was hard. Bro, this video is so sad. This video is so sad. Oh my gosh, don't feel sorry for me. It's like, it's all in the past, and without that, I wouldn't be who I am today. So, you know, life's a journey, you gotta grow. But yeah, I just never talked to people, and for whatever reason, people never introduced myself to me, so I just assumed they didn't like me because I was in classes with other girls who were really shy like me, and people would always introduce themselves to them, but never to me. Maybe it's because I had a mean body language, or people projected this personality onto me that I didn't have, so they just decided to not come up to me. Maybe it's because I appeared as standoffish, which fair enough, I completely understand that. But yeah, that shit hurt when I was a kid. I was like, why doesn't anybody like me? But you know, in high school, I eventually found my little group. Just for context, I'm turning 23 in a week. I'm old. No. No, getting older is a blessing, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, just for context, I am 23 years old, and when I was in high school, I remember having these little yay joyful moments when I would have long conversations with people. I remember I'd go home so happy because that just never happened. I'd never have full conversations with people because I didn't want to continue the conversation and embarrass myself. So, like I said, once again, I resorted to being silent. Bro, conversations were tough. They were tough, bro. One thing I realized is that I say like a lot, and I edit them the hell out of my videos, so you probably wouldn't even be able to tell, but it's kind of like a buffer, because even now, forming full-on coherent sentences, it's still a little bit hard for me, and I kind of use like as a buffer so I can think of what to say next. And like I was saying, I used to go home so happy, and I remember I'd have stories and conversations planned out in my head before I'd go see my friends, so I'd have stuff to talk about, because if it wasn't planned out, then I'd literally be completely silent the entire time. When something exciting would happen to me, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna plan this over and over and over in my head. Like, I'll plan how I'd retell this story over and over until it was perfect, and then I'd tell my friends and I'd be so excited about it. That sounds crazy, but that's just a thing that I used to do. I wasn't good at talking about just regular things. It had to be like an exciting story, because I didn't think anyone would be interested in knowing just casual things I did over the weekend, or what I ate for dinner, or something stupid that my brothers did. Like, I'd never be good at talking about casual things like that, and I genuinely didn't know that's what people really talked about until I started actually analyzing conversations. This makes me sound like a robot. I promise I'm not a robot. Yeah, it wasn't until I started really analyzing conversations that other people had with each other that I realized people actually do want to hear about this random shit. that we did with our day and who we ran into when we were at the grocery store and what our parents said that made us laugh. Like, people actually want to hear this random, minute things about your life. Just having regular, everyday conversation. That's something that I really struggled with. Literally on my 15th birthday, I went to this science summer camp and I was like, okay, Shalom, you need to break out of your shell. When you go on this camp, you're going to make friends. You're gonna see what other people talk about. I literally had to make that conscious decision. I went to that science camp. I was listening to what people were talking about. And I just remember being so stunned. I was like, this girl is telling a 5-minute story about what she ate for breakfast yesterday and these people are listening. What? That was like a defining point for me in what conversation was really about, especially conversing with friends. It's not everyday story. Like, not everything has to be this extravagant, funny story about something that happened to you. And it definitely wasn't flick a switch and now I can converse with anybody. No. It was just like, I felt like I found the answer to the meaning of life or something. I was just like, whoa, so this is what I've been missing out on. Wow, I really hope people listening to this don't find me just weird as hell. If everyone's like, nah, you're weird in the comments, I will take this video down. I will. Also, another thing that I want to say that definitely affects how I interact with people is my social battery. And I hate using that phrase, it's overused, but sometimes I just get sick and tired of talking. The social part of my brain just ceases to exist. There's really no going around it. Like, I have to go take a break, whether it's like going outside and getting some fresh air and then coming back to the situation, or straight up just going home to my room where I can be by myself and relax. So yeah, I think that's also something you have to consider when you're talking to people. They might be introverts who are not used to being around people, who are not used to having extended conversations with people. So if they are talkative and then all of a sudden they're not talkative, probably has nothing to do with you. Maybe their social battery died and they just want to leave the situation. If someone is talking to you and then all of a sudden they stop being responsive and then they just leave, that'd be pretty rude. I don't know if that happens to you. Just think about these things I'm saying. And when my social battery runs out, I do try to listen and keep listening and try to ask them questions. Like, when I don't have anything to say, when I'm feeling socially fatigued, I will ask them more questions about themselves and try to steer the conversation more towards them, because I do enjoy listening. When my social battery does run out, I don't want to feel as if, I'm constantly having to think of things to say, even though right now it's really, really hard to. I don't want to have that pressure there. And it is made a lot easier when, the people are, responsive to what you're asking them and they are talking. And on that note, sometimes if people aren't talkative, sometimes it's just not that deep. Sometimes people are just listeners. Not everybody is an introvert. No, not everybody is an introvert. What I meant to say is not everybody is an extrovert, and it really frankly pisses me off that some people don't get that. I was recently at this get-together with a lot of people I actually didn't know. Usually I'm the super quiet one in these situations, but there was someone who was even more quiet than me. And then when we left, there was this girl who I have met multiple times, and she was just talking about the girl who was even more quiet than me. She just kept going on about it. She was like, oh, she was so shy. She didn't say a word. She didn't say a peep. And that's not bad to say. Like, calling people shy, that's not a bad thing. But she just kept going on and on and on about it, and it really seemed as though she was offended by the fact that this girl didn't feel comfortable around this bunch of strangers enough to speak. And I was just like, why does that bother you, fam? You're in a group of people who you know, then there's this stranger you don't know. If you're so bothered by the fact that she's not talking, hey, here's an idea. As someone who knows everybody here except for her, how about you go have a conversation with her? Instead of being offended by the fact that she wasn't talkative. Like, it's just not that deep. It's so perfectly normal to be quiet in a situation where you don't know anybody. And because of situations like that, I have forcibly forced myself to come out of my shell, because I don't want to be perceived as rude, even though it's literally my anxiety that is causing me to be quiet. And a lot of the times when you are in new social situations, people won't try to talk to you and they will think you're weird for not talking, even though they don't even try to include you in the conversation. And I don't understand that, but I'm just like, I have to take control of my life, and if I don't want to feel super awkward and secluded from everybody else, I am going to learn to just butt the hell into the conversation, even if it feels like I'm jamming needles into my skin. I'm just gonna have to learn that. And I can say over the last half of 2020, I really learned how to do that, and I'm happy. But like, yeah, I shouldn't freaking have to. Like, why does it bother you that I'm not talking when one, you're not even trying to include me in the conversation, and two, you have a group of people that you already know? Like, let me be comfortable, damn! And I think some people just need to realize that a lot of the time it's just not that deep. It's not that deep. Some people are just listeners. I'm angry. Frankly, I'm angry. I'll never understand why people are given so much flack for not talking. Actually, no, I think I do understand. It's because humans by nature are social creatures. So I guess when you are in a situation where, you know, you are supposed to be social and someone isn't being social, that makes you feel kind of weird. So yeah, I guess I understand. Once again, humans, we do tend to take things personally. So maybe if the person isn't talking, we do think it's something to do with us or something to do with our friends. So yeah, you know, I definitely understand the point of view where it's like, oh, you're weird for not talking. Do I accept it? No. Am I okay with it? No. Am I gonna conform? Yes. Because I don't want people to hate me. But that being said though, it's not easy. Like I was saying, the last half of 2020, I've really just gone out of my shell and just started talking to people. And one thing I will say that's really helped the process is medication. Medication is something that I've been thinking about for ages. Taking medication that helps with both anxiety and depression. And let me tell you, it's very much so helped with my anxiety. And I think that definitely sped up the process of me getting out of my shell. It's one of those meds that took about 2 months to kick in, but once it kicked in, I was really starting to enjoy social situations, and I still am. I've been actively trying to break out of my shell since I was 15. I finally broke out of my shell when I was 22 when I started taking those meds. It took me 7 years plus medication to fully break out of my shell. That goes to show you that talking is just not easy for everybody, and I was painstakingly trying my hardest to break out of my shell and I guess make people who like to talk more comfortable. And it's just not that hard, and I think people just need to realize that sometimes it's just not personal, and just, I guess, put yourself in the other person's shoes. They don't have to make you more comfortable in conversation, but I don't like making people uncomfortable, and I don't like uncomfortable situations, so I'm just like, and I do want to have fun. I do want to talk to people. And I'm glad that I did go on medication. Shout out to the person that really pushed me to do that. I'd say therapy has helped me a lot too. I've been doing therapy for like a year now, a year and a bit. I've had 3 therapists so far, and my third, I got her through the university I'm at, and she's amazing. So yeah, both things have just really helped me. So if you're struggling out there, I'd recommend starting therapy first. And I've definitely heard other people saying that a mixture of therapy and medication, it's the best mixture to help you with things. And I definitely agree at the point I'm in right now, but definitely talk to your doctor, because I'm not a professional. I mean, I do be having that health bachelor's degree, and I'm currently doing a health master's degree, but I'm not a professional. So talk to your doctor. Don't listen to some random YouTuber, please. But yeah, like I was saying, I used to get ignored as a kid, bro. Like, it broke my freaking heart. Man, I used to get ignored so much as a kid. Even when I did talk, like, people would just flat out walk away. Bro, kids are ruthless. They don't care. If they think you're boring, they gon' walk away. They're gonna walk away. 2 instances really stand out in my head when I think about people ignoring me when I was a kid. Once when I went on this military type youth camp that I talked about in one of my videos, and we were playing a game, and I was talking to this guy that was right in front of me. I was asking him a question, and he just looked away and kept walking. Bro, when I say my soul dropped into my ass, I don't think I've ever felt so offended in my life. Like, he heard what I said, and he just, oop, and left. And then the second time was when I was in high school, and we had to be at high school at a certain time, but I was there early for some reason. And then I met this other girl who was in the same friendship group I was with. There was like maybe 12 of us in the same friendship group, but I wasn't very close to her at all. And then we started talking, and then as soon as one of the other girls in that friendship group came, literally mid-conversation, this girl leaves me and goes and walks away with her. Bro, the way these things just stay in my head. Anyways, people don't realize what they're doing, and I get it, especially when they're young. Things like that, they more appall and shock me than offend me. I'm just like, wow, so I really am invisible. Okay, that's That's just the way life is. You need to realize also that some people aren't just as socially aware as you are. It's like, I live in an apartment complex where everything is so closely smushed together. The walls are paper thin and people will blast their music on their way to work at 5 a.m. like people aren't sleeping. Or they'll come home from a night out at 1 a.m. and blast their music like people aren't sleeping. Some people are just not socially aware and they might do rude things, but you need to realize that you and them grow up in very different circumstances, and a lot of the times they don't realize that they're being rude. You view things from your perspective because of the experiences that you've had, and so do they. So if they've never had anyone tell them, hey, turn your goddamn music down, they just don't know that it's bothering people, which how can you not know that? But I think the takeaway from this video is don't take things personally. Just consider the fact that everyone has gone through something, everyone is going through something, and everyone grew up completely differently. Everyone has had completely different relationships to you. Some people will learn things when they're 16 years old, and other people will learn the exact same thing when they're 60 years old. Don't compare yourself to other people in that sense. And I know it's hard not to do that because some people may come across as complete idiots because people never told them no growing up. Just remember that people, they perceive things based on their experiences, and I think thinking about that constantly will help you not to take things personally, or at least it's definitely helped me. And I will tell you, it's really hard not to take things personally, but once you have that thought in your head, it just makes things a little bit easier. And one last thing I want to say is that if you do find social interaction awkward, you find talking awkward, don't blame yourself. I used to blame myself, and I continue to blame myself sometimes, but it's actually something that my therapist has hammered in my head, that it takes two to tango, and if the conversation is awkward, it doesn't always have to do with you. So yeah, don't forget about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to follow me on my social medias, it will be at the end of the video and down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Like it is what it is.
And then when we disperse, it's like, why were you so quiet? Because no one was talking to me, babes.